Shalom. I'm coming to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect pushing his word and truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson will be titled Filthy Apartment to Glorious Mansion. Okay? 1 Corinthians 15:50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Right? So basically it's pretty simple. Well, he's like everything in the scriptures is simple, right? When you get caught with a stumbling block, it's because the spirit's not dealing with you, right? Because every reason why things seem like a dark, deep mystery is because you need the spirit as a codex or a code or the key to the code to unlock the mysteries, right? If you don't have that spirit, then it's going to seem dark and deep and twisted and confusing, right? But if you have that, the Rakah Kodash, right? You have that key, you can unlock the mysteries of the scriptures and everything's just simple, right? So right here he says the flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, right? So flesh and blood is corruptible, right? Because the kingdom of Yahweh is it's righteousness, it's purity, it's pure righteousness and purity, right? It's not, and it's incorruptible, right? It can't be corrupted because only things that are, like you say, wicked, only things that are lead to death can corrupt, right? Like with wood, like eventually wood decays and it breaks down. That's why you have to maintain it, or like your bodies, for example, or a car. Actually, a car, if you don't maintain it and keep it in maintenance, it's gonna rust, and then things are gonna start to break down. You don't change your oil, you don't put gas in the car, you don't it's gonna break down. But the bodies that we're gonna get, right, bodies we're gonna get in the kingdom are gonna be incorruptible. They will never die. They'll be perfect, right? Just like the body Yahweh Shai has, right? But the kingdom is perfect. So you can't go to a perfect kingdom with something that's corruptible, something that leads to death, right? So your body's gonna have to be changed, right? So 51, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed, right? And when he refers to it as we shall not all sleep, because some of us are gonna die as martyrs in the truth, right? So some will die, but the majority of us will not, of the hopeful elect. But we all should be changed. And changed into what? In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, right? And the reason why it's saying the twinkling of an eye at the last trump, because the scriptures also say that the elect will be scarcely saved, right? Scarcely, right? For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. So the dead, when it says that, the dead that ones that have died in the ministry, in the truth, are going to be raised up first, right? They're going to be raised up first, get beamed up first, and get their new bodies. Then everyone else who survived to the end, who wasn't killed, will be changed also with them. We will be caught up with the clouds, like the scripture reads, roughly paraphrasing. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality, right? So let's just check those words real quick. Incorruptible. In the physical sense, from Old French, incorruptible. Unspoiled, unseduced. There you go. So those bodies we're going to have cannot be seduced by Satan at all, period. Right? So you can't go off. You can't be seduced to your lust. You can't be seduced to wickedness. You can't be seduced to do anything wicked. Right? Can't be spoiled by anything. Right? It's perfect. Never dies. Because when something's spoiled, like if you have milk, right, and it spoils, it's no good. It's dead. Right? It's past its expiring date. So now it's ruined. Right? And corruptible is just the opposite of this, right? So we don't need to really go into that. And then immortality. Okay, so we have to go to mortality. Let's look at mortality. Moral qualities, virtues, conduct, or thought. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, that's talking about a different way to use the word. So we have to go in the word mortal, actually. Okay, there you go. Mortal, right? That's just mortality is part of that word. Deadly, destructive to life, causing or threatening death, illness, poisons, wounds. Also a person of the body, doomed to die, right? So we are mortals. We're all mortals. So we have to become immortals, right? Where we don't die, right? Because the opposite of mortal would be immortal, right? Right? See, it says subject to death, mortal of a mortal human, right? That's where you can get those celestial bodies. Okay, so the last verse. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, there you go, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Yeah, we swallowed up the death because we got the new bodies, right? We got the new bodies because we made it to the end, so we won. You know, we won and we got the reward, which is new bodies, again, having the scriptures put into inward parts, everything else that comes with it, right? So, yeah, so another thing, right? So you have to, that's why you have to think of these things as, these fleshly bodies as just apartments, you know, that you're just housing, because you're just a spirit. You know, if you watch the show Transformers, if you're old enough to know about that show, when it was a TV show, you know, that show is talking about the Israelite. That show is very spiritual because it has the Transformers. You know, you have the Autobots and the Decepticons. The Autobots are smaller than the Decepticons. Decepticons, it seems like they have a mass army. They always have more. There's always more Decepticons than Autobots, right? And the Autobots, nonetheless, they're all Transformers, right? And these Transformers have something called a spark, right? It's just pure energy, which is just their spirit. They just changed the name, Spark Spirit, because it's energy, right? And their spark goes into, sometimes it goes into different Transformers, right? Because Transformers are what they call their bodies, right? Transformers. So sometimes they get a better Transformer than another, right? When they come back in the reincarnation, right? Because the show continues in every season, right? They come back. Sometimes they're in there's one called Beast Wars. There's one called Transformers. There's ones where they're on dealing with humans, right? But each time they come in different Transformers, different bodies, right? And sometimes the ones they had before were better than the one that they have currently. But the point is that they're just vehicles, right? They're just houses that they're going in. Sometimes you get a new car. The car is different than the last one. It has different options, different speeds. You know, some are bigger than others. Some are, you know, so they're just houses, right? I call them houses. You can call them vehicles. The same thing, right? So one thing is like, you know, you want to make sure your house is clean. You gotta clean your house. You gotta clean your car. Make sure your car's in running order. Try to maintain it to the best of your ability. You know, because the cleaner it is. Because like Paul says, these bodies are they're wicked. They go off. They're dirty. They're filthy. So when you get one, you gotta clean it to the best of your ability. End of the day, it's still a wicked body that goes off. But at least if you're cleaning it, it's not gonna go off as much. You know, you can have you're more on top of it than you were before. You're not living in a filthy, disgusting apartment, because they're all filthy and disgusting anyways to the Most High, and compared to Yahweh Shai's body, right? But the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, will visit you a little bit more if your house is a little bit clean, right? Like if you're living in a house and you have friends, you want to, host them. You're not going to host them in a house that's dirty. If you're smart, you're not going to want them to come over, and they're not going to want to come over. Maybe they came over one time, they seen your house dirty. It's like, yeah, I don't want to go to this place. This place is always dirty, right? Let's clean it. So you clean it up. You clean it up, you get it nice, whatever air fresheners. You can only do so much when you live in a filthy apartment. But you clean them to the best of your ability, and they come over. It's like, oh, okay, this is not that bad. I'll come over a little bit more. Same thing with the car, right? And the person we want to come sup with us all the time is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? More importantly, Yahweh Shai, because he's a mediator. So you want him to come and sup with you. You want your lawyer to come to your house, and so you can plead your case, so you can take it back to the judge, so things can start happening, so you can grow in the spirit. But if your house is dirty, that lawyer's not going to want to come over there, because that lawyer has an incorruptible body. He's pure, right? So you need to clean up your house, right? Because if you make it to the end, you're going to get a mansion. You're going to get the top of the creme de la creme of cars, the creme de la creme of mansions, of houses, right? And it's never going to break down. It's never going to rust, But you got to clean up your house. You can't be lazy. Just because you live in a filthy apartment doesn't mean you're not supposed to clean it, right? Matthew 15:14. Actually, this is the wrong scripture. Slack. This is not the one I wanted. I'll be right back. Slack, yeah.